What was the preparation process like to create this album?
Reconstruction is, years of building after God said come back, and building behind the scenes, and building underground, and just doing the work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How do you maintain your mental health in the midst of all this?
I developed a neurodivergency, basically a mental health disorder. I had to find my identity in him and not in what other people say.
Like, there's no buildup in crescendo. What would Lecrae, who wrote Real Talk, say to Lecrae, who wrote Reconstruction?
Oh,
And vice versa.
Real Talk Lecrae would probably be confused. He hasn't dealt with his trauma. He hasn't dealt with his pain.
Yeah.
So he does still feel like you gotta earn this. Reconstruction Lecrae would tell Real Talk Lecrae, like, man, you're loved, bro. Without community, you're destined to struggle. You're destined to be more unhealthy. You are more than likely to struggle with mental health issues. Like, we're better together.
Right.
We should not be competing against each other. We don't talk enough about infrastructure. There should be people beating down the doors of Holy Culture Radio saying, hey, how can we serve? How can we get involved? What can we do? Because radio is a part of the infrastructure of the music. Stop the ministry versus industry conversation, because everything is ministry, everything is serving. And I know I wouldn't be here. I was just telling Jay Silas that out there. I was like, my whole first album, I was listening to so much Jay Silas, you might be able to hear his influence.
Is it like this every day where you just pull up, no security, you just out here?
What I realize is that I want to meet you. I want to connect with you. What's my distinction? Is it just what I talk about, or is my life different?
What message do you want people most to take away from Reconstruction?
That whatever brokenness that exists in your world, in your life, whatever pieces that you're ashamed of that have fallen down, like, God wants to do something with that.
Yeah.
God wants to reconstruct that.
This is James Rousseau, a.k.a. Trig, and let me welcome you to the Corling Solutions Show. What's up, y'all? We are live on SiriusXM, of course, because you're here, and I've got a special show today. I'm going to do one of the longest introductions I've ever done, straight up, ever done, because it just needs to be done. I'm going to read it from the very beginning with Real Talk in 2004. Lecrae set out to make more than just music. He built a movement. But after the music stops, he was challenging listeners to live faith beyond tracks. Rebel broke barriers, becoming the first Christian hip-hop album to top Billboard's gospel chart, and Rehab the Overdose took us deeper into stories of brokenness and God's healing. Then came Gravity in 2012, his mainstream breakthrough, a Grammy win, and proof that faith-driven rap could stand shoulder to shoulder with the culture. And that same year, he dropped Church Clothes, the first of 4 mixtapes that kicked down doors and showed the world Lecrae could rap with anybody, anywhere. Over that next decade, with Church Clothes 2, 3, and the final Church Clothes 4, he built bridges between the church and the culture, never shying away from raw truth. Anomaly in 2014 took things further, debuting at number 1 on Billboard 200, going gold and cementing Lecrae as a global voice. By all things work together, we saw Lecrae wrestling openly with pain, doubt, and purpose, and restoration brought it full circle. A raw and hopeful testimony of rebuilding after struggle. 9 albums and 4 Church Clothes tapes later, Lecrae has taken us on a journey of rebellion, redemption, and restoration. And now, with Reconstruction, he's not just reflecting on the past, he's inviting us to rebuild faith, culture, and life itself in a stronger way. Welcome to the show, my brother.
I need that.
Lecrae.
I need a sound. I need that clip. I might use that on tour. That was crazy.
Hey, bro.
But you said you said rebellion, redemption, and restoration. That was powerful.
Rebellion, redemption, restoration, bro.
Man, that's crazy.
Once I knew you were coming a week ago, I just had to settle back in it. And it's amazing how many things you can forget have transpired and taken place. I was telling D before we came in here, even just listening to the latest book, forgive me, I forgot the name, Restored. Listen to Restored, bro. I mean, there's just so much, man. So let's do this. Let's start with something fun I like to ask everyone.
All right.
What's one thing you can share that the people, and it's going to be really hard for you because you're so transparent, but what's one thing you might be able to share that those closest to you would be surprised to hear?
Surprised to hear. I mean, I don't know if it's like, I would say this: there's nobody in my house that is impressed with any of it. There's not not my wife, not my kids.
They keep you grounded.
They are not impressed. My wife was like, "What album is this?" I said, "It's
Wow.
10. It's 10, babe."
Wow.
It's like, "Oh yeah, but Lecrae, I can't remember. I don't remember because I don't."
Wow.
I'm like, "This is a big deal." She said, "I mean, it's a big deal, but I mean."
Did she call you Lecrae? What did she call you?
Lecrae.
She
like,
called you
full
Lecrae?
name. Yeah.
Wow.
Full name.
No Craig.
No Craig.
No Crayboo.
None of
no
that. Just
nothing.
full name.
Lecrae.
Yeah, full name. She's like that though. She's eclectic with stuff
Got
like
it.
that. Yeah.
Got it. Wow,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Well, I think that is one of the benefits of family.
Yeah, for sure.
Keep you grounded. People
for
use,
sure.
they didn't jump on because of anything, and so they're not jumping off because of anything, and they're not jumping up and down because of anything. So
No, I
Yeah.
remember I asked my wife, I said, "Hey, if God called me to live under a highway for a year, would you be down to do it?" She said, "I mean, if he really called you, I guess I don't got no choice." I said, "You a keeper, man."
oh my God, that's so funny, man. I mean, the album makes so many statements. And one of the things you said is this album doesn't debate faith, but it reinvigorates it. Talk a little bit about, man, like what was the preparation process like to create this album?
I really think it was, you got to remember, Restoration was me, like I had just came back.
Right.
It's like, "Oh, you love me still, Lord?" God said, "Come feed my sheep." And it was like, "Okay, Lord, I'll do it." After so much brokenness. Reconstruction is, years of building after God said come back, and building behind the scenes, and building underground, and just doing the work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what got built, what got constructed, what are those things? And so that's what this is about. It will help you to celebrate what God has done, or it will help you to heal where you're broken. So yeah.
The personal sharing you've done, and even you sharing, having kind of transitioning your thought process, even dealing with criticism. I remember I recently watched you say things like, "Hey, there was a time I felt like I had to respond to everything. Then there's a time I felt like I don't owe anyone anything." Right? And just going back and forth between those things and sharing all of those things out in the open for people to take in. How has that worked its way into this album in terms of how you release the stories, the journey?
Yeah, I was just reading in Matthew, Jesus talking about forgiving your enemies, right? And he was like, turn the other cheek, like don't repay them evil for evil.
Right.
And I think the challenge in that is like, you got to ask yourself, who are my enemies? You know what I'm saying? Like, who are my enemies? And on this album, I just realized, like, man, if somebody's coming against me in any shape, form, or fashion, Jesus would tell me to pray for them. So I actually have a song on the album called, "Pray for Me."
Yes.
Like I'm gonna pray for you because I hope you're praying for me as much as you critique me.
Yes.
And so this project is I'm more compassionate toward these folks, toward the people who have disdain for me. I'm more compassionate toward them because I'm like, oh man, there's a love or a joy that they're not processing. And when you want someone's healing, when you want their transformation, you don't beat them up. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
You try to figure out a way to connect with them because you really want, like my own child. I see him rebel. I don't just smash him. I'm like, yo, man, let's have a conversation, bro. What's going on with you, man?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Right.
And hopefully that leads to change. And so that's kind of what this album, where I'm at.
Yeah. But double clicking on that a little bit, that point of wanting to help people find their space, right? That point of wanting to support people through the trauma, through the so on and so forth. that also means to a certain degree you are opening up the vulnerability levers for you a little bit as well.
That's true.
And so just as somebody who's been very transparent about their journey, about, abuse as a young person, right? Looking for affirmation in the wrong places, so to speak. How do you maintain your mental health in the midst of all this? In the midst of trying to help liberate a culture, so to speak, how do you maintain and protect, and maybe protect's the wrong word, but what is the word?
So I've actually not talked about this in depth before, but I developed a neurodivergency, basically a mental health disorder, because of consistently overwhelming my brain, worried about perception, worried about relationships, worried, processing,
right,
to where basically my nervous system got stuck in overdrive.
Yeah.
And so it's like I'm now far more sensitive to and more prone toward anxiousness than the average person would be, or it takes longer for my body to calm down than the average person. So I've already experienced the worst possible outcome of not protecting your mental health. So for me, I got a reminder every day to protect mine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, I'm just kind of like, okay, well, Lord, either A, I have to leave it alone, or B, you're going to have to give me the tools to navigate these spaces that would typically rock somebody. But I guess, long story short, I had to find my identity in him and not in what other people say. And so once your identity is solidified in that, then you can just kind of see through all of this stuff, and it doesn't affect you in the same way. If I feel like it's starting to affect me, my wife and me both, we're like, all right, that's enough for today.
Yeah.
Leave it alone.
You could see it rising.
Yeah. I'm going to feel it different. You know
it.
what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, let's leave that alone.
Got it.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's good. I mean, and on Bless You, I think you're talking about trauma and risk taking, and what was that like engaging with Tori for that show? For that song, man. What was that like? Tori,
man, I love that dude, man. Like, Tori is the most genuine, down to earth, humble, but yet beastly. Artist out there. And I've known Tori for years. The thing I love about Tori is a lot of young guys, man, they ask you a question to figure out how they can, I don't know, like, and this, I don't want to paint with a broad stroke, but I've had a lot of guys ask me questions, but only so they can just get an immediate thing that they can, use to take off like a rocket ship. Tori always asks me questions about how to be a better man, how to be a better husband, how to be a better leader. He asked me questions like that, and then we get around to the music. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard not to root for him.
Right.
It's hard not to cheer for him. And then him diving into his trauma and the stuff that he's dealt with in East St. Louis, it was like a match made in heaven for that song.
If we could talk about some of the songs, man. This album goes in from song one. Like, there's no build up and crescendo. there's no build up and crescendo. Like, you don't spend a lot of times guessing of what's the theme of the album. There's none of that.
Nah.
You have it within 30 seconds.
I just punch him right in the chest.
Why?
Punch him in the throat, man. Because I wanted to set a precedence immediately. Like, you will be rattled, you will be shaken, you will have to process. This is not going to be, I'm not easing into this. It's almost like when you start a movie off and at the beginning of the movie, it's like something crazy happens. And you're like, what the heck is going on? It's like just preparing you for the turns this thing
That's
may
how
take.
I felt. The end of that joint with do you remember The Last Poets?
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
The end of it reminded me of some Last Poets joints. Like, like when you said, we rebels again.
Yeah.
Right? We were handed doctrines dipped in dominance. It's like, we are clearing out a space to rebuild. And then you had that little semblance, probably not on purpose, but to me it was like that little semblance of the Who Shot Your Bells. I was like, I was walking through the park. Oh, this is a thing.
Man, I wanted something that just felt like, I don't know. I just wanted to feel like it was some kind of explosion
Yeah.
that came together and just to shake like, hey, listen.
Yeah.
And part of it was to, you know, I felt like that's how I started Gravity. That's how I started Rebel. It's just to let you know, like, nah, the grit is still there. That passion, that burden is still there. It's just, it's matured.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
Man, that's when you think about the tempo or the cadence of the album, the way it flows, right? What, like when I think about like the song Erase Me, and you said shift from religion to true faith. Expound on that.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, if you like one of them deep doctrine people, listen, religion's in the Bible. I know that. You know, James said there's religion in the Bible. So I'm not saying religion in its traditional sense is bad. I'm saying in the way that we understand it as a society.
Yeah.
It's following a bunch of rules in order to be approved of. Right. So we tend to think that religion means I do A so God can do B.
Yeah.
And I'm over that. I'm over trying to please people,
right,
and appease them so that they'll accept me. And God despises me trying to appease him so he'll accept me. I'm actually like disrespecting him,
right,
by trying to earn his love. You know what I mean? When he's freely offered it to me. So it's really just me unpacking that and just saying, look, I like erase all of that. You
Done
know,
with that.
yeah, erase it.
Done with that. You know, one of the things about the album to me too, sonically. So, thank you again. I think 2 times ago when I was there at the studio, right? You allowed me to hear a few songs, and so I remember the first time I heard Holy Water, and that thing. You know what I mean? I felt like, don't take this the wrong way. It was like, Lecrae is back.
H2O. Yeah.
Lecrae's back.
That's what you should have felt.
Yeah.
No, that's how you should have felt.
Yeah.
That's what I want. Like, when I was doing this project, I was like, so you got to think. I went through this period of time where, you know, humans should not be praised. Humans should not be exalted. I went through this period of time where I received so much praise, so much exaltation, so much of that what it turned into was, it turned into me seeing people as a stair step to get to the next level instead of seeing them as people. When I started, I was on the block, I was hanging out, I was doing the outreaches, I was shaking every hand, I was connected to the people. And then they catapulted me to success beyond my understanding. And then I stopped seeing them as people and just saw them as projects, analytics and data. And God had to humble me. You know, I started riding public transportation just to be reconnected to the people. I shake every hand again. I'm in a line talking to some girls, and they say, yeah, it's so good to see you. Our dad died 6 months ago. 5 years ago, I would have shook their hand. I'd have been like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Sign their autograph, and then kept it pushing. The new me stopped when they said that. And I said, come here. And I said, your dad died 6 months ago, and y'all are here in this line? And I was just like, let's pray. You know, let's pray. Let's talk, you know. And we held the meet and greet up to pray for these girls and to talk. They bawling, crying. They like, thank you for seeing us. And that is what I needed, because there's no passion when you're just doing it for the numbers and the analytics. There's no drive. There's no sense of you know, there's no soul on the other end of that.
Yeah.
But now Reconstruction is like, oh, I'm reconstructed. I'm rebuilt on this foundation. I tore them walls down. We built something solid, so you can hear the passion in this project.
That's good.
Yeah.
That also feels like there's just much more freedom in the art.
For sure.
Much more freedom in
For
the
sure.
art.
Yeah, because I'm not, well, this will work.
Right.
Well, this will work.
Right.
It's like, this is where we at.
That freedom.
Yeah.
And the album feels that way. So you go from Reconstruction, and then you start going through the cuts, and every cut has a different sonic range.
Yeah. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Some have melodies, some have chants, some have you just, you know, brick by brick. I mean, and so there's a diversity in the album that you know, I'm not sure I expected it. There was, you know, I'm not sure what I expected, but I didn't expect this exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, even putting it together, what was, I mean, of course you got Ace there, you got Dre.
Sure.
I mean, you'll have a crazy team. But how did you conceptualize it?
Yeah. So we were processing like what type of project is this gonna be? You know what I mean? Is this a story driven project? Is this a sonic driven project? Like, what is this? And I think we were like, yo, let's stop that.
Yeah.
Let's let the music talk for itself. Let's just create and see what comes out as we create.
Yeah.
And it's just get this stuff out. Just get it off your chest. Say it. Go. Just, we're not gonna follow these same old formulas. Let's just start making the music, crafting the music. Yeah. And I think as the music got crafted, it felt more like a journey, but the story's not in order per se.
Right.
All of the pieces are there. If you wanted to put this, so that's what we were struggling with, was like, we could put the story in chronological order and talk and go from deconstructing to reconstructing.
Right.
But then sonically it's gonna be all over the place. We can put it in sonic order where it's like chill, chill, or hype to chill. But then story-wise, it's out of place. So it was kind of like, all right, well, what do we do here? So what I think we just did was we said, let's do some pieces of story. Yeah. But then let's do some sonics as well. So you can hear Reconstruction goes into my story. We got to start with my story because that's just set the precedence.
Right.
But then you can't, when somebody hear up-tempo join and you go right to something, die for the party, it's like, wait, that was a little jarring. What just happened there? So some stuff is sonically placed and some stuff is storyline placed.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. I mean, one of the things too that jumps out is the along that same theme of freedom is this freedom of expression about coming out of a rules-based Jesus follower approach to a faith-based, if I could say it that way, right? And, going from, listen, I know you had your walk through Reformed, Calvinism and, the tulips and all the above to this free space of knowing Jesus for real and walking in your faith for real. How's that translate in terms of your connections with others, man, who worked on songs with you, like Headphones?
Yeah.
How did that connect there?
So Dr. Tony Evans said something, and I thought it was really profound. He said, if you belong in the household of faith, we got to figure out how to be siblings. He said, you don't get along with all of your siblings that live under the same roof with you, but y'all still got to live together, and you got to figure that out. So people outside of my faith, I'm like, yo, we may have theological differences, but we family.
Yeah.
I mean, not outside of my faith, outside of my theological views.
Right.
We may have different views on doctrines or whatever, but we family. We got to learn how to live together. Now, I got some next door neighbors. They don't live in my house.
Yeah.
But I'm telling them I'm a Jesus follower. Can they see that? Do they feel excluded? Do I got my stiff arm out to them, or am I inviting them over for dinner? Am I inviting them over for dinner? Now, they may invite me over and they having drugs and strippers and the whole nine. I'm cool.
Right.
I don't want to go. Which would be the equivalent of T.I. making a song about the strip club,
right,
and saying, yo, Craig, you want to be on this? You just give us some wisdom on this track. Nah, I'm good on that, bro. But I would like to invite you over for dinner.
Right.
Why don't you come over to my house?
Right.
We're going to talk about grief, and I'm going to give you a biblical perspective on grief. And I want to hear your perspective, my brother. Let's have this conversation together.
That's so good.
Come on, over here, Killer Mike. Let's have a conversation at dinner. Let's talk about grief.
Yeah.
And let's record it. And let's let the world hear how y'all are processing grief and I'm processing grief.
Yeah.
And that's more the vantage point that I have when I'm doing that type of a collaboration.
Mama. Hey, listen, that song, I played that one several times on repeat. The one thing that, so here's a question of kind of opposite ends of the spectrum. What would Lecrae, who wrote Real Talk, say to Lecrae, who wrote Reconstruction?
Oh.
And vice versa.
Real Talk Lecrae would probably be confused, being honest.
Listening to Reconstruction?
Yeah, he'd be confused because Real Talk Lecrae, though he would not admit it, though doctrinally he knows he's saved by grace through faith, he hasn't dealt with his trauma. He hasn't dealt with his pain.
Yeah.
So he does still feel like you gotta earn this. And there's so much vulnerability happening here.
Right.
And there's so like you can't tell all of that and you can't be that free and you know, because you're gonna be discarded or someone's gonna now maybe he's probably if there's ever anything Real Talk Lecrae would say is like, wow, there's that level of freedom. Like I didn't know that level of freedom existed. I thought I had to be more guarded than that. I thought I had to be more buttoned up than that. And then Reconstruction Lecrae would tell Real Talk Lecrae like, man, you're loved, bro. You don't got to earn this. People, you don't got to prove how intelligent you are. You don't got to prove what block you came up on. You don't got to prove you're a great rapper. You don't got to prove you know your Bible. You're loved.
Yeah.
You're loved.
That point about Real Talk Lecrae, needing to understand that point and that it's not about the intelligence. It's not about the logic model. It's not about, do you think, without going through any specific situations, that is a part of what's led to some falling away?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you've hung standards around your neck that you couldn't even keep up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you didn't give yourself the freedom to say what your struggles really were. You had a veneer of, I've got this doctrine and I've got it all figured out and I'm going to be fine. And no, you're not. Now you've raised up a group of people who are going to be the same ones that yell crucify him.
Right.
Because you've not shown them a vulnerable person who needs grace every day.
Yeah.
But you've shown them somebody who's got this all figured out and you can systematize it and break it down.
Yeah.
And how you would never talk about your struggles in a way that makes you vulnerable, or you would never say, you know, y'all pray for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, when you position yourself as a guru, you're going to fall.
Yeah.
You're going to fall. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know community is important to you. And I've heard you mention it. I think we talked about it last time a little bit too, the community and how does that play a role? You know, and let me start here. How's that play? And I'll tell you why I'm asking this one. We recently did a survey of our audience, focused on Christian men, and asked them what things are like most important to you. What are you wrestling with? And one of the things that came back was community and lack of it. Right? And so now we're trying to like probe a little bit and figure out like what does that really mean? Because some say, of course, you know, I need a group. Maybe I need mentorship, so on and so forth. As a person who is looked up to by many, how do you view community, its importance, and what it's helped you through, and or not?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, end of the day, you know, solitary confinement is a punishment in prison for a reason. For a reason. Right? It's not good for man to be alone. It's detrimental to us. It deprives us of a basic human need. And so I think we have found these artificial versions of community that we think will supplement, but they don't.
Yeah.
It's like dating AI. It's like, yeah, it's telling you all these wonderful things about you, but it's not the same as having a relationship with a real person.
Yeah.
And so without community, you're destined to struggle. You're destined to be more unhealthy. You are more than likely to struggle with mental health issues. On and on goes a pattern. Like it's detrimental to you. And men are lonely out here. Reason why they're lonely is because, you know, women tend to connect face to face. Right. That's what they do. Like, hey, girl, how you doing? Oh, my gosh, let me tell you what happened. Da, 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 da. Men connect side by side. We need to hoop together. We need to work out together. We need to do a thing together. But we have adopted a mindset of just working so hard. And like now we don't work 9 to 5s anymore. We work 24 hours a day. So we've left no time for fellowship or community. And so for me, I know I would have died without my community. So I'm very intentional about it. So it's kind of like, I'm like, yo, fellas, pick a day on the calendar this week.
Right.
When we getting together. You know, I built my home as a place to invite people over to. It's just mandatory. It's not even it's no question. I got 3 different group texts, and it's like, yo, we need to see each other, bro. Like, we not just gonna be texting, bro.
Right.
What we doing? You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's a form of survival.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
You know, Better Sober, you talk about clearly, clear-minded leadership.
Yeah.
Right, comes to mind when I think about that song. Like, you know, I'm better off sober, and the lyrics are really clear. And you've talked about this. I mean, extensively. At one point, I think you said you could do easily a bottle a day.
For sure. Easy.
Right? You had to built up, what do you call it? You had tolerance.
Yeah.
Your tolerance was crazy.
Crazy.
So now when you think about sobriety and what's kept you there, that's one thing of what's kept you there. But the other thing is, how do you think that shows up in your leadership?
Yeah, I mean, most leaders are so stressed out that they tell themselves they deserve this vacation they're taking. You know, this
holidays.
That's right. So, you know, when you are sober minded, you're not myopic. Myopic is when you're just singularly focused and you're not paying attention to all the other things going on around you. You just want what you want.
Right.
So when you're not sober, and let's just say not even alcohol. When you're drunk on yourself and drunk on your ambitions, you're not healthy, right? So you're myopic, and that makes you step on people, use people, crush them. You're not a leader, you're a tyrant. When you're sober, you're listening.
Yeah.
You're getting perspective.
Absolutely.
You're hearing, okay, how can I lead you well? I got to get in the trenches with you and see what's not working, what is working. You know, I run a label and I delegate often, but there's some things I'm like, yo, I don't even know how this works. Teach me. I will let an employee teach me.
Yeah.
Because I'm not afraid to say, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think sober leadership it humbles you, it makes you listen, and it makes you not have tunnel vision on selfish ambition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the hardest song to create on the album?
Hardest?
Most difficult, most challenging, longest.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, what's the hardest one? I would probably say the intro, the Reconstruction,
Really?
the title track. And the reason why is because this is what I've learned. When you hear a good sound bite from somebody, like I think of like my man Jason Wilson, right? He got tons of great sound bites. So many good sound bites. When you hear a good sound bite from somebody, it's because that well is deep. It's deep. And they just did a good job of pulling up so much of the depth and getting it to the surface for you to grasp it. And I feel like Reconstruction for me is a deep well. And it was hard to get it up into a 2-minute song. So it was so much to say. It was like, I couldn't write it. I don't know how to get this out. It was almost frustrating to me. It was like, I don't know how to say any of this stuff. So that was the toughest one for real.
Man, as a culture maker, I'm going to use that term, man, who I know you didn't ask for it, but you are the face of CHH in so many respects.
Yeah.
When you think about the opportunities ahead for our culture, for our ecosystem, for our subgenre, whatever term you want to put on it, what do you hope to hear more of in terms of what people are talking about in terms of these opportunities? Like, what do you say, man, I wish I heard more of this?
Okay. I want to hear more of, and this isn't just because I'm big bro. It's because I know what I didn't have when I was little bro. Right? I want to hear more of a reverence, not a reverence, a respect for the insight from older, wiser people. Right? Why are we, reinventing the wheel when we don't have to? People have been through this already. Why are we asking them questions?
Right.
Like, I don't the young boys and the young girls, they don't ask me enough questions. Like, I'm like, I've been everywhere you trying to go and you ain't asked me one question.
Why do you think that is?
Well, there's a lot of reasons, I'm sure. One is, I think it's a sense of competition. Like, I'm competing with you in my mind. I'm trying to beat you. And it's like, yo, this is not a race to win. Like, this is a culture to build and influence the world with. Right. We do it collectively. Like, we're better together.
Right.
We should not be competing against each other. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, you ain't asked me one question about how to navigate this thing. We don't talk enough about infrastructure, right? There's no infrastructure. Everybody is like, you know, there should be people beating down the doors of Holy Culture Radio saying, hey, how can we serve? How can we get involved? What can we do? Because radio is a part of the infrastructure of the music, right? Like, and then I would say the other thing is like, stop the ministry versus industry conversation. Cut that out, because everything is ministry. Everything is serving, right? But you got to do good business. Good business is service. If you don't understand the business of what you're doing, you're not serving people well.
Right.
So don't say, oh, this is just ministry, man. Why we got to do? What do you mean? We need infrastructure. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you know, the Bible talks about Kenaniah was chosen to do something because he was skilled at it. He was chosen to build a temple because he was skilled. So skill matters. Praise him with the lyre, praise him with the harp, praise him skillfully.
Yeah.
God cares about skill.
Yeah.
So I think those are the things, is listening to your elder statesmen and women. You know, I don't know if Anike, I think the young women probably think Anike is the OG. Like, they don't know older women rappers.
Oh my gosh.
You dig what I'm saying?
Mahogany Jones, he's Sun Lee.
They don't know.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it's like, yo, why y'all not like, y'all, we've been here for a while.
Yeah.
They calling me the pioneer. No, I stood on the shoulders of other people and opened some other doors. But I was here during a golden era.
Do you think so I wonder, what you're saying makes a lot. Well, let me detach two things. One is not asking you questions. If they have access to you and not asking you questions, to me, that's a competition thing, and there's maybe a lack of intellectual curiosity.
That's true too.
Right?
That's true too.
But then there's this other thing of, do they not know what they don't know, and they're not curious. So one of the things I feel a burden for is creating access to and visibility for the full legacy of Christian hip hop. Stephen Wiley, Mike Peace, Forward. That's,
Mike D.
Mike D. Somewhere that it is, right? Whether it's online, virtual, and can become physical, that you get to see the full visual of the generations, right? Because I feel like, and push back if you know, you're immersed in this thing. I feel like if you don't have that, to your point, not only do you start over each time, there's a lack of appreciation for what's possible as well, right?
Absolutely.
Right? Like, if you knew this thing was 30 years plus deep, and that these people broke down doors, that they used to get spit upon or pushed off the doorsteps of the church.
Yeah.
And now it's acceptable because of, right? Now it's integrated because of, now it's more than a subgenre because of, right? If you don't have that, it's like when you see a movie or anything for the first time, right? And you weren't there. Like, I was born after King was, killed, right? But then when you see all of that and you see the tapestry of everything, it's like, man, right?
Where can we go from here?
Right.
We went from that to this?
Right.
Wow. Yeah. And I mean, even when you look in the Bible, there's a faith hall of fame for a reason. There's people that God taught us to look back and say, thank you for your contribution. There's a cloud of many witnesses.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I think we got to model that in real life. There are people whose shoulders that we get to stand on. I know I was immersed in this thing. And I know I wouldn't be here. I was just telling Jay Silas that out there. I was like, my whole first album, I was listening to so much Jay Silas, you might be able to hear his influence.
That's wild.
In my first album.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But just that history, if it wasn't for, gospel gangsters and Fourth Avenue Jones and, you know what I'm saying? Mars Ill, you know what I'm saying? Like there's so many LA symphonies and like so many people inspired and influenced me to be where I'm at today that it's kind of like, and I've been around them and I got to ask them questions. I asked them everything I could.
Yeah.
So and vice versa. I just feel like that same type of thing needs to happen. Now I had access to them and, but shoot, y'all got the internet. Y'all could, I guarantee you, if any one of these youngins hit me with a DM, let's go. What you need to know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's so good, man. So you're inviting people into this workshop. So I've watched this rollout, man. And first of all, shout out to D as well. D Diaz is the marketing genius. Whenever I say I need to learn something, if she's not going to give me the game directly, she will put me on to somebody.
Listen.
I go to D shamelessly, and sorry, D, if I bug you too much, but that's not going to change. But watching this rollout, man, it feels like I got the email of being able to come in, go to the site, question of the day, but then I saw the others workshop pieces. I'm like, man, it feels like Crae's inviting them into this movement at a very fundamental working level.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Yeah, man. I think, man, shout out to the team, D, Brian, Elsa, Shannon, Flex, Sophia. Like, I think there were a few things, and this is what I got to give them credit for. They ask good questions. They ask me, what are you thinking? What are you hoping for? What is the goal? And, it's kind of like, it takes a special team to be able to like extract what you're thinking and then execute on that particular thing. And we came to a conclusion early on. It's just kind of like, your community is important.
Yeah.
And that's where things are going toward. People want real touches and real,
right.
Feeling a sense of connectedness. And so, them executing on that and just, I had a vision that this album is not about me.
Right.
This is y'all's album. This is y'all's reconstruction. This whole rollout ain't got nothing to do with me. It's y'all. We going to do outreaches. We going to do backpack drives. We going to feed people. Like, we getting back to the grind and just to the roots of stuff. And so, yeah, it's like how do we invite them into that with us?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they've done a phenomenal job of just making sure everybody felt included.
That's good.
And that what do you want? We listening to y'all now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
What's the feedback been like so far?
It's been crazy.
Yeah.
It's been crazy.
Any particular story come to mind early on?
I think the one I think about the most is like, okay, so on the workshop, right, you do things to earn points, right? It's a leaderboard. And so guessing lyrics of songs, and there's quizzes and different things of that nature. And on a leaderboard, there's one particular guy who, his name is Nene, and Nene was just excited about it all. And he's been excited. He excited when he got his mailer and just all these things, right? Well, I wouldn't have known Nene historically if it wasn't for social media and him participating that way. But this is one of my biggest supporters, and I would have never known. So because of all of this, I know who Nene is.
Yeah.
Well, we get to Smoke Fest. I see him standing in line. You know what I'm saying? I walk up to him like,
that's wild.
I'm a fan of you, bro. And that
wild.
makes his day. Like, he's just so excited about, and that's what it's about, man. Yeah. It's about, man, this kid is inspired, and I'm inspiring him. But your efforts and your engagement inspires me. We do this together.
Yeah.
And so,
wow, that's wild.
Yeah,
that's wild. The fan connection component of this, I think, is going to pay so much. So many dividends. You came here today, no security.
Yeah.
You just pulled up
in Philly.
You and Flex in Philly, no security, bro. I mean, I'm going off on a tangent for a second. You're so you're in a space where you are again liberating, providing liberating content. That in and of itself, I mean, we can't forget, but you got Grammys, you're an author. You're a best-selling author, podcast owner, and wonderfully growing podcast. You've done a podcast tour. You're about to do a 45-city tour. So you've got not only extensive celebrity, you've got extensive accomplishments, and now you're drawing and inviting people in. On top of that, what does your bubble feel like, or no bubble, or is it like this every day where you just pull up, no security, you just out here?
What I realize is that I'm not creating songs for you to just dance to, right? I'm creating music that is a soundtrack to your most painful, passionate, or sacred moments. And that's not lost on me. And so because of that, I want to meet you. I want to connect with you. You know what I'm saying?
So you welcome people who come up to you in the airport. And
I just met a dude at the airport. His name is Ebenezer. He's from Ghana, and I could tell he was nervous. And I'm like, you're not gonna have time to be nervous because I want to know so much about you that you're by the end of this conversation, you're gonna be like, yo. He was more interested in me than I was in him. He's from Ghana. He goes to Drexel. He's studying to get his doctorate in nursing. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have any family here in Philly. So if you hear about him, shout out my man. And I gave him, a couple churches and leaders that I knew out here. And I was like, yeah, man, try to get connected. And we took a picture and it was all love. But it's like, that memory is going to last longer, and my words on the music are gonna mean more.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
How you make people feel.
Exactly.
I actually met that brother, and it was everything we've heard and better.
Yeah.
When I met him. Because we've all had that moment where we met somebody we wanted to meet, and you were
like,
man.
I had that plenty times.
Can't watch any more of his movies.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Why was the City Takers piece such a big part of this? The back to school drive with City Takers and whatnot. Why was that so important?
Integrity. I think that's a big thing for me. I just want to die with integrity. I don't want to just talk about it. I want to be about what I talk about. So let's not just say, oh, this is, you listen to Bless You. Like, they wasn't around when we went on in missions. Like, yeah, we really do this. Not we really did this. That's what we used to do. This is what we do.
Right.
This is who we are.
Sure.
And this is who you can be and who you should be. It's connected to the community. It's connected and serve. And so what's our distinction? If I'm a 4-time Grammy Award winning, New York Times best-selling, #1 Billboard charting artist, okay, well, so is, whoever else artist who's mainstream. What's my distinction? Is it just what I talk about? Or is my life different?
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
And so it's like, all right, so let's not do a listening party where we have hors d'oeuvres and gifts and it's just fancy. Let's touch the community.
Yeah.
Let's bless them. This is about them.
Yeah.
So
you walk away blessed too, don't you?
What?
I mean, I know you walk away like leaving that night when you got in the car, turned on the car. What were your thoughts?
The first thing, being dead honest, the first thing I thought was, I'm so glad my kids get to experience this with me.
Oh, they were with you?
Yeah.
How old are your kids again?
17, 16, 13. And that got me a little emotional. But, you care so much about your kids and you want them to see that Jesus is not just a Sunday school story.
Yeah.
But you want them to see, like, he has transformed me. And I want you to walk this out and to see them serving and my daughter putting stuff together and my sons. It's like putting the hands and feet. You're not just some privileged kid whose dad is we out here, man. We out here.
What was that conversation like on the way home with them?
They love it.
Yeah.
They love it.
Yeah.
And they also love it because it's more organized. Because sometimes I will just randomly, I'll be like, yo, come on, we about to go feed some people on the streets.
Right.
And I got them in the house making sandwiches and putting stuff in bags. And then they like, Dad, where do we go? I don't know. Go give him one.
Right.
I don't know. They're like, oh my God. So it's more organized. It's like, this is some structure.
Right.
So this ain't Dad's random.
That's good though. But the simplicity of serving, man, and big shout out to my boy Scott Free. I get to Atlanta sometimes and I'll text Scott like, hey, let's do lunch, and we have a meeting spot, Papados. Hey, that's our spot. We'll go to Papados. But one time I got there, he said, hey, man, I know we're going to do lunch, but we about to do this outreach thing real quick. You down to go with us? Sure. I'm expecting a super complex. You want to know how simple it was? We're taking a bunch of quarters down to the laundromat, and we're just going to pay to do people's laundry.
That's fire.
So many. So it was like, I don't know,
That's
10,
fire.
12 kids. We go to laundromat. It's obviously in a neighborhood that's hurting. People bringing their laundry, and ma'am, can we do your laundry for you? I'm sorry, what? Can we do your laundry for you?
That's fire.
Put the money in, do her laundry, and then talking with her.
Yep.
Not trying to proselytize from the get-go. Just
Yep.
trying to get to know who you are. What's your name? Bro, the smiles, the change in dispositions.
That's right.
Right? The change of the feeling of the laundromat.
That's right.
Everything changed.
Yeah.
By the time we walked back to the joint, I was more hungry, but I was just so full watching those kids and watching the people in that neighborhood see that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro.
No grand announcement, no flyers, no just
bro. I run through a wall for Scott Free, bro, for because of his sincerity and his passion.
Yeah.
I've done that too. And that's the other thing. I would have to call my younger artists and be like, yo, I'm finna go out here with Scott. We're gonna stand on the block, we're gonna hand out food, we're going to door to door. And they're like, oh, okay. And sometimes they just need to I gotta lead in that fashion because they wouldn't ultimately have done that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like when I got into this, I didn't get into this just to be a hit maker. I got into this because it was the soundtrack of my real life. You know what I mean? And so I want this to be people's real lives.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
What how do you prepare, man, for a 45 city tour? As you're reconstructing us, and it's not about you, how do you prepare for this 45 city tour, bro?
Listen to me, my man. I gotta take it one day at a time. So here's the funny thing though. Touring is actually a very peaceful time for me.
Really?
And this is the reason why. The album release week and weeks leading to album release is always very hectic. You don't know what's up, what's down, what's this, what's that. Oh, this person said they can do this, and this person said they can do that, and they said this, and they said that, and you're like, huh, what? It's all kinds of stuff going on. Touring, you know where you're gonna be.
Yeah.
You know what time you got to be there.
Gotcha.
You know, it makes sense, and you just have the energy for it because you know what's coming.
Clockwork.
You know what's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah.
No surprises.
I can understand that.
Yeah. So it's actually the hardest part of tour is getting the set right and developing it. So that's the hardest part, especially because you love all the songs. Every song in your mind needs a moment. They're all your children.
Yeah.
And so you're like, nah, but we got to do that. And then, but, and this one's really hard because I'm taking people from the origins to the new stuff. So it's like, all right, how we fit Rebel in to Reconstruction? Like what? So it's a lot of work to do that, but that's the hardest part.
That's the hardest part. I'm gonna ask some questions since I have you, and these other people aren't taking advantage of it. I'm gonna ask you a few questions.
All right.
So one would be, and you've got a lot of depth, man, and going from the, let's call it the Christian contemporary space, right? I literally remember, man, like being in Indiana at this big site. I remember you on one stage. I remember Ross Servant.
Oh, wow.
There. Kenton Jones was there inside. Like, these like cornfields. And I remember, and that became a norm. And then you stepping back as you talk about in your book and saying, well, hold up. I've kind of not served this community over here, this gospel community. Let me re-engage, right? And let me change from, again, from reformed and trying to make sure you understand my theology too, right? How do we, and I mean the big we, the CHH ecosystem, and particularly up and young coming artists, how do we better engage, I'm going to say with the Black church, with the gospel community? How do we better be seen as a utility?
Yeah.
If that makes sense, right? Yeah. And you probably could choose a better word, but I think you get my point.
I get exactly what you're saying. I think on our side as a CHH community, not harbor bitterness, not harbor, you know what I'm saying, for not being seen and not like, and then, having some conversations with like, part of CHH is that it's been parachurch ministry for so long. It's operated outside of the church for so long. So become a faithful member of your church. If it's a traditional black church, you know what I'm saying? Like, are you a faithful member? Like, can they see like you're more than just a rapper who jumps around on stage? Like, you're a whole dynamic person. And I think that changes the perception and opens the door for us to have some good conversations.
That's good.
Because for so long, they just saw us as youth group entertainment. And you could be bitter about that, or you could raise your hand and get involved and show them that you're more than that. You know what I mean?
That's right.
So I think that's part of it. And then, you know, we're at an era in this time in our lives where we can be, there's a lot we can offer. I think some of it is collaboration. Do collabs. You know what I'm saying? Like, start collaborating with artists in the gospel space and do some songs and then just, you know, it's a lot more dialogue has to happen. Now on the church side, I think it is like they have to be open to recognizing hip hop is over 50 years old.
Yeah.
It's not the young people's music.
Right.
It's the people's music.
Right.
And so this is not something you regulate to Youth Sunday. This is something that is for the main congregation, and y'all would never, this is what some churches be doing too, y'all would never dial it in or accept Lil JJ who could sing on Sunday morning. So why are you dialing it in for a rap break with Lil Marquise to do a little rap? No, you want the best singers on Sunday. Okay, have that same standard when it comes to the hip hop, so that people aren't turned off when it happens on Sunday morning.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So
absolutely.
Yeah.
20 years from now, man, people will talk about you, just like we talk about Wiley and some of those other folks, right, that you stood on the shoulders on, just like you talked about Jay Silas.
Yeah.
When they talk about you, what do you want some of the first words to be?
Now I hope I was a bridge. You know what I'm saying? I hope I was a bridge between worlds. I hope I allowed church culture to see the world differently and the world to see the church differently. And I know some people will never go into that either side without a bridge to walk on.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of people who despise that bridge and say, why would you touch this side of the street? You know, but if I don't touch this side of the street, they never gonna get over here.
Yeah.
And if I don't touch this side of the street, you're never gonna have the courage to look to get over closer and see, like, you're not gonna get the cooties. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I hope people saw me as a bridge to worlds and not somebody trying to do it for my own selfish gain and advantage.
Yeah. What will Reach Records be in 20 years?
I think a home. I think it'll be known as a place where, you know, Christian hip hop was challenged to be quality, to I don't want to say compete, but I guess I do mean compete with the best in any subgenre.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what I would hope. We always said we wanted to make music that you were proud for your non-Christian friends to hear. You know, Christians are proud of this music.
Yes.
And I hope that's what Reach Records legacy is like. Oh, check this out.
That's good. That's good, bro. Yeah. You know, when all the awards are done, and just like you said, the Grammys, the New York Times best-selling, the most intimate relationships you have next to God is the family.
That's right.
What do you want the family to say?
Hopefully they'll say my dad didn't sacrifice me for this career. Hopefully that's what they'll say. I never want my kids to feel like this was more important than them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So my son plays football. He asked me, he has a game tonight. And he said, are you going to make my game tonight? I said, I'm not, champ. I said, but I already blocked off my schedule for the other games because I'm going to be at those games.
That's good.
And I don't want him to feel like church or music or career was more important than him. So I would hope my family feels like, man, he did a really good job of balancing this all, or, you know, prioritizing us in the midst of all of these amazing things. Yeah.
As we wrap up, man, what message do you want people most to take away from Reconstruction?
that whatever brokenness that exists in your world, in your life, whatever pieces that you're ashamed of that have fallen down, like God wants to do something with that.
Yeah.
God wants to reconstruct that. You know, the David statue that Michelangelo did was carved out of discarded marble. 2 other people looked at it and said, nah, ain't nothing we can do with that. But yet Michelangelo said, I can do something with that. You are not marble to be discarded. You are a work of art that if you will let God get a hold of you, he will reconstruct something amazing. I don't care what it is you experience. I don't care. I have seen people in prison who are convicted of the most heinous charges.
Yeah.
God used them. You can be reconstructed and used.
Yo, that's good, bro.
Yeah.
Family, I'm going to ask y'all to do 3 things. 1, I'm going to ask y'all to pray for our bro.
Thank you.
He's on mission. He's liberating. He's sharing authentically. I know sometimes we use that word too much, but in this case, man, it's like exponentially right to use.
Man.
He's authentically sharing, y'all. 2, stream the album.
Please.
Stream the album tomorrow, okay? It drops tomorrow. Actually, somebody told me it dropped today, early. Is that a thing?
It'll be Thursday at midnight. I mean, it depends on where you live.
It's not available
9
right
p.m.
now.
It's 9 p.m. in the West Coast.
Okay,
It's dropped.
right. But pre-save that joint and start streaming it at midnight. And then thirdly, go to Lecrae.com and check out the workshop.
Please.
I would encourage you. Listen, I'm a fan. I'm a supporter. I'm in there. I signed up.
My man.
I'm in there.
My man.
Next time, I'm going to get one of those CD mailers, too. So.
Hey, we got you, baby.
Next time, I'll get one of those.
Yeah.
Brother, any final words?
No, I just appreciate y'all. I want to give you your flowers as well, man.
Thank you,
you carrying a banner, and I think, man, you're doing it thanklessly in a lot of ways, but I see what you're doing behind the scenes, and I see the investment that you're making in the people. Even being here, it's like, wow, you really are reinvesting in this culture, in this community, and it's a beautiful thing to see. So thank you,
brother.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, y'all. Go to Lecrae.com, stream it up.